Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Maria and I'm a part-time reseller on Poshmark and eBay, and we are winding down to the end of another reselling year. It seems a little bit crazy. It went by so fast, and this is year 2 for me of reselling. So I am still learning. I'm still looking at my numbers and trying to compare from last year. So for today, we are going to go through an entire week of sales, Sunday through Saturday that I had. It will be December 3rd through the 9th. I'm a little bit behind in my editing, so hopefully this video will come out before Christmas. And if not, hopefully before the new year. But Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Any other holidays you celebrate, I hope you're having a wonderful time with your family. If this is your first time joining me for a What Sold video, I'm going to go through each and every day of my sales week and break down what item sold, how much I bought it for, where I bought it, what platform it sold on, and all of those good things. And at the end of the video, we'll go through the full week in review. I've also been thinking about doing a cumulative how did my sales go in 2023 versus 2022, which was my first year. So I'm not sure what that will look like and if I'll do that. But if you want to see that, let me know down below in the comments. All right, guys, so don't forget as we go through these items, anytime I talk about total profit at the end, I am talking about minus shipping, minus any fees, minus any promoted listings, all of those types of things. Basically everything that comes out of it other than tax. And let's get started. So Sunday the 3rd was my first sales day of the week. I had 6 sales, 3 on Poshmark and 3 on eBay. The first thing to sell were part of my 30% off sale that I usually run over on Poshmark. I will send out 30% offers to likers with discounted shipping, and someone scooped these up for $19. These were the J. Jill corduroy cream straight leg pants, jeans, in a women's size 10. I love selling corduroy. I don't know if the market just isn't as saturated, but people do really seem to like corduroy because it usually turns over for me pretty quickly. I got these at a local Prime thrift store. I do have some thrift with me's of that store on this channel. I really love going to this store. I do average my cost of goods most of the time for my shopping trips. So my average cost of goods was $371. These sold in 5 days and I made $9.47. That profit is a little bit lower than I usually like to see. However, it was a quick flip. They sold in less than a week, so that's $10 I didn't have before. Next on Poshmark was this Sanctuary chiffon sleeveless handkerchief asymmetrical hem black maxi dress in a size large. This one I found at the bins down in St. Louis when I was down there, and it was so beautiful. I really loved it. I had wished it was my size. I would have worn it a couple times. But this sold for $35. My average cost of goods at the bins that day was $1.19. It sold in 150 days and I made $26.81. Sanctuary is so hit or miss for me and usually on the miss. It does sit for a while, but this was pretty substantial. It was beautiful and I'm really glad that somebody grabbed this. All right, next was this North Face high vent detachable hooded water resistant jacket coat in a women's small. This sat around longer than I expected to. I think I had it listed at $55. I accepted an offer of $40. I got this at a Goodwill retail store. Average cost of goods $609. I think I remember the jacket actually being $10, but again, average cost of goods. This did sit for 420 days, so over a year, much longer than is normal for me for something this substantial from the North Face. And I did end up making $25.91. To be honest, I think the colorway hurt this one a little bit. If it were me, it was like a navy blue and like a brown. I don't think that appeals to all buyers, and I've sold jackets like this much faster. So I don't know. That's my theory, but who knows? So over on eBay, the first thing to sell this week was this Toad & Co. Romero long sleeve tee, comfy sweater, t-shirt, mixed gray, women's medium. You already know if you watch my channel, and if you don't, I love putting all of the keywords as I can into my titles and then descriptions. This did sell for $22.40. When I say my eBay prices, that does not include shipping, and the buyer does pay shipping for everything that I sell. I got this at a Goodwill retail store for $5.02. It sat for 249 days and I made $13.50. I do like selling Toad & Co. It was previously Horny Toad, so you might still see that at the thrift. If you're not familiar, they did change their name a few years back. So usually if I have a Horny Toad item, I'll put Toad & Co. parentheses Horny Toad and then type everything else out so that both of those are in the listing. And then I will put the brand as Toad & Co. since that's the current name of the brand. Next, I was so excited to see sell was this J. Jill Wherever collection red V-neck 3/4 length sleeve jersey knit shirt medium. I got this, I feel like forever ago. Yes, 505 days ago. This sold for $18 on eBay, which I accepted in like a hot second. I got this at the bins for 99 cents. This was, I think, a Baltimore trip very early in my reselling career. I might not grab something from J.Jill that's this basic nowadays, but I did then. And it sat for 505 days, but I ended up making $14.69 on it. So happy ending, I guess. Next was this Natori Serenity cardigan robe, knee length, black plush fleeced, women's small, black plush fleece, women's small. I really do like selling Natori. It's an intimates line. It's pretty expensive retail. They have a lot of bras. But ironically, I have a bra that has not sold and it's been listed for a long time. So I'm not sure. But I had 2 of these Natori robes that I found at a Goodwill retail store a few months back, and they have now both sold. This one sold for $30. I paid $500. Wow, that would be overpaying. I paid $5.32 for this item. I think I remember their robes only being like $3 or $4, $5, which was really a fantastic find. This sold in 263 days and I made $22.49. I found another Natori robe recently at the bins in Columbus, Ohio. I also have those videos filmed. Those will be coming to you soon. I have both like a thrift with me at the bins, and then I have filmed the haul for you guys. It'll actually be 3 videos because I found so much stuff. So stay tuned for that, but I do like picking up Natori. Okay, so next on Monday the 4th, I had 8 sales, 5 on Poshmark and 3 on eBay. First was this Hannah Anderson purple striped twirl dress stretch Pima cotton knit girls 3, which is 90 centimeters. And this was a remnant from the 30% off sale I had done the previous day. The person accepted the offer. So this only sold for $16, but I was happy with that for a little girl's dress. It was absolutely adorable. I didn't even realize when I bought it and I got it home and was photographing it that it was reversible. So it had like a light lavender purple and a dark purple and was in such great condition and was absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favorite colors. So I picked this up at a Goodwill retail store. My average cost of goods was $5.72. I do remember this only being, I think, like $3.25 is their standard child's dress. But again, average is what I go with. It sold in 87 days and I made $5.06. But again, it would have been a little bit more than that technically, but average cost of goods is what we go with. And it saved this adorable little girl's dress, and hopefully somebody is out there looking super, super cute running around in it. Next was this ModCloth Oh Say Can You Museum Cat Print Black Chiffon Dress Novelty Print Extra Small. It was the most random name, but it looked like this. The Oh Say Can You was the like style name, and then I think the Museum Cat was the name of the print, the pattern. ModCloth is a good one to look out for, especially in novelty prints. So I always recommend putting novelty print as well as whatever print it is, like cat print, in the title, because I think people search for that. ModCloth is known for those. And so this one sold for $22. I think that was also another remnant of the 30% off offers that I sent out. This was so cute and it fit me. So I actually wore this to work on Halloween because I do work in a professional environment. So I had to still look nice, but it was fun because it was a little bit, you know, Halloween-y with the black cats, and I had little ears, and I put like a little bit of stuff on my nose. I'm probably popping a picture up here, but everybody loved it and it fit me really well. But it sold for $22. I got this at Prime Thrift for $4.37, and it sold in only 21 days and I made $11.21. Next, I sold this Forever Collectibles University of Alabama knit scarf fringe trim one size. This one pains me. If you watch my channel, I am an Ohio State Buckeyes fan and we do not like Alabama. Just gonna say it, sorry. But I will sell it because they have a huge fan base. They are a good team, I will admit that. I do think Nick Saban is one of the best football coaches of all time, especially in college football. But anyway, tangent. This sold for $15 and that was an offer that I accepted. I got this at a Goodwill retail. Average cost of goods $5.09. I do remember the scarves for $2. That's technically what I paid. And this sold in 258 days and I made $6.91 on this. I was glad this did finally sell because we are coming out of college football season, so I really wanted to sell it, which is why I accepted the $15. I think I only had it listed maybe for like 18 or 21, so that was pretty close. Next was this Chico's Zenergy Faux Fur Full Zip Cashmere Blend Sweater Jacket Blazer in a Chico size 2, which is a large 12. I do always put 2 and then large parentheses 12 in the title, so if somebody's just looking at it, they can see what it is. And then in the actual size, I will put large or 12. I wouldn't want to put 2 because that would be misleading. This sold for $31, which I was happy with. This was listed at $35. So this was just my normal 10% off offer that gets sent to a buyer virtually every time you like an item in my closet, plus discounted shipping. I got this at the bins for $1.19. I think this was also down on my St. Louis bins trip, if I'm remembering correctly. It sold in 140 days and I made $21.59. Love selling Chicos. This one was in really, really great condition. I liked the pattern because it was leopard print. It obviously had the cashmere in it to make it really soft. So good all around. And lastly for Poshmark this day were these Janie and Jack Toucan Birds Print Blue Chino Shorts Casual Infant Baby Boy 6 to 12 months. These were my son's little Janie and Jack shorts. He was given these somewhere along the way. I think maybe from like a bundle of stuff we got from a friend or neighbor maybe. And they did have a little bit of discoloration on the back, on the butt. He goes to a daycare that has like rubber mulch playground and it like discolors things. So it was really hard to see it was faint. I did obviously photograph it and disclose it, but I was glad these sold because I was worried that was going to hinder them from ever selling. So when I got a $10 offer, I accepted. I was thrilled to make anything on these. I just knew that Once Upon a Child probably wouldn't take them because of the slight discoloration that they had. I got positive feedback, so that was great. Also randomly, I initially listed these as penguins just because I wasn't like paying attention. Like they are very clearly toucans and penguins are absolutely nothing alike. Thankfully I caught it like right after I listed it and I was able to correct it. So these, to recap, sold for $10. They were personal use. I had $0 into them. They sat for 68 days and I made $7.05, which is pretty cool. I also loved that I sold shorts in the middle of winter. That's always good. So on eBay, I sold this Pistola My Squad olive green utility maxi skirt in a women's medium. This was a really, really cool skirt. I do like selling Pistola. It'll sometimes sell really well for me, and then other times it kind of sits. I have a pair of like skinny jeans jeggings that have been sitting, but I sold like a jumpsuit like in a couple weeks for like $75 once. That was a really good find. This one sat for, it had tons of attention. It had so many likers, it had watchers in eBay. It just took a while to finally sell for some reason, but it did finally sell. I accepted a $20 offer because I was ready to move it out. I got this at the bins for 92 cents down in Georgia. It sat for 182 days and I made $16.73. Oh, this one was maybe my favorite sale of the week. I think it was my best sale of the week. And it was this Falconable, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, so I'm sorry. 100% wool mid-length classic black peacoat jacket, men's extra large. Guys, I found this at the bins, just like laying across the top. No one wanted it. I know it's heavy, but it still was absolutely worth it, especially based on the sale price. So I had looked it up with the bins because if I'm going to buy something that heavy, I definitely want to make sure I know what I'm doing. I saw that it was 100% wool, which for me, any 100% wool peacoat, it's definitely worth looking up because 100% wool peacoats are just very classic and people look for them. They never really go out of style. And I saw that Falconable can do really well. And then I also saw that like sometimes it sells for like nothing. So I was really confused. I decided to take a chance. I think I listed it for like 120, something around there, just to kind of test out the waters. And then my intention was to reduce it eventually if it wasn't selling at the higher price point. And it either like sold full price. I've been running a 20% off eBay sale that I just kind of re-up each week. I end it and then restart it. And it either sold as a result of the 20% off or I accepted an offer of 100. I think it just sold outright though. And I was so excited, so excited. So yes, $100 sale plus shipping, of course, which was heavier to ship. And I got this at the bins. The average cost of goods that day was only 75 cents. So obviously I probably paid a little more for this because it was heavy, but 75 cents, it sat for 174 days and I made $85.37, which I think paid for my entire haul that day, if I'm remembering correctly. I think it was like $60 to $70. It might have been a little bit more, but it probably paid for most of my haul that day. All right, the next item to sell was this Victoria's Secret Body by Victoria lined perfect coverage bra, adjustable, in size 38 double D. This sold on eBay for $17.99. I usually list these for $24.99, and then my 20% off sale was listing it for $19.99, and then I sent out a 10% offer to a watcher for $17.99, and they accepted that. I got this at the bins for $1.24. It was only listed for 58 days and I made $13.99. I love picking up Victoria's Secret bras at the bins because they always sell. I always list them for basically $25 and they usually always sell between $15 and $25. And I can make that like $10 to $20 profit like every day of the week very easily. Love it. So on Tuesday the 5th, I had 4 sales. I had 2 on Poshmark and 2 on eBay. My first Poshmark sale was another exciting one for me. It was these Madewell skinny black denim overalls, lunar wash jean jumpsuit in a women's small. This was my first time finding Madewell overalls, which I had always heard could do well. But I heard they could do so well, but then they sat for a while and I got really concerned. Like, did I list them too high? Maybe these aren't the ones people are looking for. And then one day they just sold full price on Poshmark for $55. I got them at the bins, also down in St. Louis, for $1.19. They sat for 145 days and I made $42.81. I had 2 kind of hauls that day because they close and then they switch out the bins and then they open again. So $42.81 because I only had like an hour or so to sneak in there. That covers half of my trip, one of those trips to the bins that day. So that's fantastic. The next item were these Fly London black suede leather ankle boots, booties, wedges, and a women's US 8 or a 38. This was my first time finding Fly London, so I was very excited. And they were just like sitting in a hard goods bin at the Delaware bins. And I was like, what's wrong with these? I picked them up thinking somebody had thrown them back. They were in fantastic condition. I don't know why. I saw the little fly on them and flipped them over. Yep, Fly London right on the bottom. I found my second Fly London find yesterday. Actually, I found some like white platform sneakers, so I'm excited to get those listed eventually. These sold for $40. I got them at the bins. My average cost of goods that day was $214. I remember I got a lot of heavier items that day. And these were listed for 91 days and I made $29.86. Definitely keep an eye out for Fly London. That was a brand that I wasn't familiar with before I started reselling. But if you look for that little fly icon, you'll be able to spot them, hopefully, if you can find some. All right, another shoe sale, and this is a kind of strange one, but on eBay, my first item this day was these George Cox X Native black Diano creeper shoes, slip-on flats loafers, women's 6. I saw that these were native. I really like selling native shoes. They're very well known for like their kids rubber kind of slip-on shoes, and I do like selling those, you know, for $15, $20, $25. But I saw these at a Prime thrift store one time, and they looked so strange. I wasn't familiar, but since they were native, I definitely looked them up. And I looked them up and found that George Cox is a very, very expensive men's shoe line. He's very well known for leather Oxfords and these really, really kind of ornate, detailed styles. So these are natives that are made to look like those, which is pretty cool. And I got a little concerned because I took these initially thinking they were men's, but then I realized they were a women's 6. So I was like, I don't know if that's going to hurt the resale value because they're kind of traditionally men's looking and they're a smaller size. I thought they were super cool. They didn't fit me, unfortunately. But then these sold as part of my 20% eBay sale outright for $36. My average cost of goods at Prime Thrift that day was $4.37. They were only listed for 38 days and I made $27.02. So keep an eye out for those. I've never seen that collab before, but anything native, definitely in my opinion, is worth looking at. All right, the last thing on eBay that day was this Bernie, I'm not sure, I apologize for that, youth fleece-lined hooded brown work coat, trucker jacket, full zip, boys extra small. The reason I grabbed this that day at the bins to actually look up was because it looked like Carhartt. It looked like one of those like rugged outdoor chore jacket type things. So I looked it up. I saw some comps all over the place, but as a bins grab, I definitely thought there was value there, and there was. This sold for $23.99 on eBay. I also had gotten some lower offers, so there was definitely a lot of interest in it. But this was when I was countering not like super high, but I was getting some really low offers and I wasn't going to let it go that low since it had been listed so recently. And I'm glad that I did that because I do accept some pretty bad offers sometimes. But this eventually sold for $23.99. I got this at the bins, I think down in Georgia. They're all running together. I've had so many fun bins trips this year. I got it for $1.24 and it was listed for 53 days and I made $19.28. Anytime I can make like that $20 profit after all of the promoted listings, shipping, fees from a bins item, that's fantastic. That's kind of like my target goal. I know I sell a lot of things lower, but then I have some higher items and it all kind of averages out. All right, next is Wednesday the 6th. I had 4 sales. I had 3 on Poshmark and 1 on eBay. The first Poshmark one I was excited about, it was this new with tags Azazi Rue Peacock A-line pleated chiffon maxi bridesmaid's dress gown in a size 0. This I sold for $48 and I got this at a Goodwill retail store. My average cost of goods was $7.29. I like selling Azazi. It's been pretty successful for me. I think it's an online only. I'm not sure if it's sold in any retail stores, but it's mostly bridesmaids. It's bridal dresses. But there's so many dresses that would also just be good for special events, homecomings, proms, mother of the bride, just being a wedding guest. So many occasions that these could also be worn for. Rue was the style name and Peacock was the color. I will advise that they don't put the style name and the color in their inner tags. So it is sometimes very difficult. This one was easy because it was new with tags and had it on the actual tag. But when I find them that are not new with tags, I will say I spend probably more time than I should making sure I find the style, usually by using Google Lens and some keywords I can find it. But the color is oftentimes harder to match because there's so many colors and you're comparing like a digital color versus an in-person color, and there's so many shades that are sometimes close. And I really, really, really want to make sure I get the correct color listed, because if you're saying a bridal party and your bride's like, okay, buy this dress in this color of navy and you get a shade different, that's not going to work. And that obviously, if I had listed it as a specific shade from the Azazi, company, of course, that should be a claim to be able to return, and I want them to have the color that they need for their event. So I spend a lot of time doing that. Thus far, I've never gotten any returns on an Azazi piece that I've sold, so I've been pretty successful, which is good. This one I was a little bit worried about because I saw on the tag that it had a custom size. It actually had a C as custom as the size. So I measured it, I listed it as a 0, but then obviously it is because that's what the measurements most closely matched. But then I noted that it was a custom size and here's the measurements. So that is good, the order is complete. I didn't get feedback, positive or negative, but it must have worked, hopefully, because I didn't have any, claims against me. I don't think I said this, but I ended up making $31.11. All right, next were these North Face high vent women's snow pants, snowboarding black size medium. These sold for an offer of $40. I think I had them listed at either $55 or $65. I accepted a $40 offer. I knew I could get more, but I really just wanted to move them in and out quickly because snow pants are not something I want to risk sitting on for a year. I got these at a Goodwill retail store. I did pay $16 for these, and I put that as my cost of goods this time. I think because I had like a couple higher end items and some like kids items, and I didn't want to average them so that the kids items in my cost of goods were like $10 and I like lost money in the end of the day. So I put this as $16. It sold in 50 days and I made $16. So I exactly doubled up from this item, but it was also a pretty quick flip. Lastly on Poshmark were these Patagonia baggies. The baggies is a really popular style for Patagonia, so keep your eye out for those. Women's black nylon hiking shorts, pull-on elastic waist, size small. These sold for $18, which was an offer I accepted. There was a couple little flaws in this. There was like a white mark and some black marks that I wasn't able to wash out. So I noted it, photographed it, of course. So that's kind of why I accepted an offer. I think I had them listed at $35 just because they're Patagonia, and it didn't affect the wear of them. You could do perfectly fine hiking in them. They just had a couple spots. But because there was a flaw, I wanted to move them back out. I got them at the bins also down in Georgia, for $1.24. They were only listed for 32 days. They did have quite a bit of interest on them, and I made $17.74 on an item with a flaw from the bins. So on eBay, the one thing to sell that day were these LL Bean Performance Black Stretch Hiking Pants on women's 6 regular. I do like picking up LL Bean. It sells pretty well, but it doesn't always sell quickly, so just be prepared for that. Sometimes it does if it's really substantial, but kind of the run-of-the-mill items will sit for me, but then they will usually have a good sale price. These eventually sold for $23.99. I got them at that same Prime thrift store. My average cost of goods that day was $294, but they were listed for 493 days. They were these basic, just like black hiking pants. They weren't adjustable, convertible, anything really special. So I think that's why it took them a while, but I made $17.74. I think I read the wrong thing on the Patagonias. So I apologize for that. Patagonia shorts, I made $13.16. LL Bean pants, I made $17.74. Apologies. Okay, Thursday the 7th, I only had 3 sales. I had 2 on eBay and 1 on Kidizen. Every once in a while have a Kidizen sale come in. I don't know if I'm going to keep selling on Depop. I don't put enough love and energy into Depop. I know you can do really well over there if you have the time and energy to do that. I'm a part-time reseller. I do this in the evening after my kids are in bed. So I'm not sure what that's going to look like. Right now I'm just listing there every once in a while. But yeah, Poshmark, eBay primarily, and then Kidizen I will sometimes have a sale here and there. So yeah, I had 0 Poshmark sales this day, by the way, if you didn't pick up on that yet. That does happen. It's infrequent, but it happens, and it always sucks, but what are you gonna do? So on eBay, first thing to sell were these Talbots curvy straight-legged stretch trouser pants, career women's size 10. I love selling Talbots career pants when I can get them at a low cost of goods. So I accepted a $15 offer because I always buy them at a very low cost of goods. I like moving them in and out. I got these at the bins for $1.24, also down in Georgia. And they were only listed for 53 days, and I made $11.43. So I will take $12, $10 as a quick flip for something that I can just get in. They're easy to list for me because I just kind of had a standard description that I just alter to match the item, and then I can just get them listed pretty quickly. Next one was a great sale, was these Spanx flare jeans, clean black women's extra large tall, stretch pull-on waist denim. Extra large tall, anything in like a tall is gonna usually do better than a standard or a petite in my short reselling experience. I also loved that these were extra large in Spanx. The larger sizes I think do pretty well. These sold for $56. That was an offer I accepted. I think I had them listed at like $75. I shot kind of high, but the comps for the style, being the flare jeans, were really good. So I wanted to try and see what I could do, and I was excited that I did because I accepted the $56 offer. I got these at a Goodwill retail store. My average cost of goods was $8.83 because I bought a lot of shoes that day. I do remember the standard jeans price was like $6.49, so it's technically what I paid. And these sold in only 2 days, so I accepted that offer. Could I have held out and got more? Yes. Or maybe they would have sat around and not sold. So I will take that $56 and run, especially when I only paid $5 for them. And I made $36.06. All right, so my one Kidizen sale of the week were these Kamek Snow Coast 3 Kids Winter Rain Snow Boots, black, yellow, unisex, boys 12. I love selling Kamek snow boots. I find them pretty regularly for like $5, and I list them at $35 and can consistently sell them for around $25. And really oftentimes on Kidizen. I've sold them on Poshmark. I've sold them, I think, on eBay. Kidizen does really well too for these. These actually sold full price on Kidizen of my $35. Kidizen is the one platform that I offer free shipping. So $35 plus I had to ship the item out of that cost. I got these at 2nd Avenue, which is a large thrift store chain near me. My average cost of goods that day was $5.87. These ones sat for longer than I usually have Kamek. These were listed for 358 days, and I made $16.55 after shipping. Very excited to move these out because I didn't want to sit on them all through summer again. On Friday the 8th, I had 5 sales, 3 on Poshmark, 2 on eBay, and I started out with another really, really strong sale. And it was these LaJance Margot high-rise tuxedo stripe ankle white skinny jeans women's 24. These were so pretty, but they were a skinny jean, which I know some of us, myself included, still love our skinny jeans, especially when we're wearing like tall boots or ankle boots. but a lot of people aren't. So sometimes they are a tough sale, and these were a size 24. So that kind of reduces the amount of people out there looking for that size. And I think I had these listed at maybe 65 or 75. I might have reduced the cost a little bit over time, but I accepted a $55 offer. I got these at 2nd Avenue for $5.57. I was so excited. It was my first time finding LeJounts. But they did sit for 312 days, but I did end up making $38.43. Next were these Merrell Jungle Mock Gunsmoke slip-on vibrant soles hiking, walking shoes flats in a women's 9.5. I went back and forth between getting these because they were kind of in rough shape, but they still looked really nice to me, and we were at the bins, so I decided to grab them. I love selling Merrell shoes. I will get almost any Merrell shoes if they're in good enough condition to sell and at a low enough price point. So I accepted an $18 offer, mostly because they weren't in fantastic condition, and I got positive feedback on these. I got them at the bins in Georgia for $1.24. They were only listed for 41 days, and I made $13.16. The next one I was a little bit surprised about. It was this Cachet beige sleeveless jumpsuit, utility safari, gold accents, and a women's size medium. I was a little bit worried when I listed this because I couldn't find a stock photo, and I didn't know how well the pictures were gonna present the garment. Jumpsuits are always hard to photograph. I maybe should have flat laid them, but I had the hanging photos. I also knew that eventually I might need to put them on and model them to take a picture, but that's always a little bit more effort on my part. So I should do it more than I do. I do it sometimes. But these sold super quick. They sold for $35. I think that was an offer I accepted. I got them at a Goodwill retail store. My average cost of goods was $7.75. They were listed for only 2 days, and I made $20.25. So that was a really good sale. I haven't done much Cachet. I have one other dress listed, and I think I have, actually I just listed a blazer last night, so we'll see. But yeah, stay tuned to other what sold videos if you want to see how that brand does, because I'm still learning and experimenting. All right, eBay, the first thing to sell was this Helly Hansen Daybreaker half zip fleece pink quarter zip pullover jacket size small. I never know if things are a quarter zip or half zip, because like even brands sometime it'll like go halfway down and they list it as a quarter zip, or it'll go like 3 inches down and they'll list it as a half zip. So usually if I have room, I'll just put both in the description and the title. This sold for $23.99 on eBay, which I was excited about. I got this at a Goodwill retail, but I wore it a whole bunch first before I listed it because I really liked it. Helly Hansen, if you're not familiar, is kind of a like North Face, Columbia. I would put it in between Columbia and North Face. I'd probably put it on the same tier with North Face, maybe in between North Face and Patagonia as far as like retail cost. I'm still experimenting on the resale market. I've only found a few things. Some of them have sold pretty well so far, so that's good. This was listed for 120 days, and I made $16.19 after getting lots and lots of use out of it, which was great. Next, I sold these American Eagle Y2K low-rise cuff distressed hem mini shorts, blue denim, size 4. If you were a diehard on the channel, I don't know if any of you exist out there, but if you are, you might remember these from a What Sold video quite a few months ago. They did get returned. The person really liked them, but they just didn't fit. I do accept returns on eBay for fit. So they've been relisted. I accepted a $17 offer this time around. I don't even remember what they sold for last time, but I had gotten these at the bins initially, I think in Columbus, Ohio, for $1.43. The second time around after I relisted them, they sat for 269 days, but I ended up making $13.36, and it looks like they're sticking this time because they haven't yet been returned or anything. So hopefully they found their forever home. All right, my last sales day was Saturday the 9th. I only had 2 sales, and they were both on eBay. So that is, I think, 2 days that I had 0 sales on Poshmark this week. The first was this vintage Christian Dior satin cream button-down sleep shirt blouse top. It's a women's large. I do think this was initially sold as a sleep top. It was really, really silky. It had like the embroidered logo right here, like a monogram logo, and I saw this at the bin, saw it was Christian Dior, and I looked and looked and looked for the bottoms that day, and I couldn't find it. But in the description, I kind of explained how like I would style it, kind of oversized. You could definitely wear it out and about. It didn't need to be used as a sleep shirt. It'd be super cute as like a capsule wardrobe piece. It had like a neutral palette. you could do so much with this, and I kind of gave some ideas in the description. I don't know if that helped sell it, but it sold for $44 on eBay, which was fantastic. I was excited about that. I got this at the bins down in St. Louis for $1.19 that day. It was only listed for 24 days, and I made $35.02. This was another one I was a little worried about because the size was rubbed off on the tag. You couldn't read. You could definitely see the Christian Dior tag, but you couldn't really see much else because it was older. This was definitely vintage. So I took measurements and I kind of listed it as, what did I list it as? A large, and I also said it might still be oversized as that large, but to check measurements. So I'm always worried when that happens, especially on eBay, that somebody will get it, it doesn't fit, and that they'll return it, which is of course within their purview. But it's been a little while again, so as far as I know, everything is fine, and hopefully she really liked it. She did send me a note that she was leaving town fairly shortly after, hoping I could get it shipped quickly. I always do same or next day shipping unless there's, for some reason, I can't. So I was shipping it quickly anyway, but I let her know that yes, you should get this in time, and I'm pretty sure she did, at least based on the tracking. All right, next on eBay, these were kind of a tough sell for me. These were Club Monaco suede leather espadrille slip-on flats in a men's 10. I had these listed much higher. I want to say for like 45 at least. And I had gotten some lowball offers throughout them being listed. So they had attention, but they kept never selling. So I really wanted to move them out. They were a men's 10, so they're fairly large. They took up quite a bit of room. And I was just ready to accept an offer. So I accepted a $20 offer. I had purchased them at 2nd Avenue. My average cost of goods was $6.27. They sold after 119 days, and I only made $10.90, but they got a new home. I did make profit. I got my initial investment back, and I don't have to store them anymore, which is great. All right, so let's go over my week. I, in total, sold 33 items. That's 15 on eBay, 17 on Poshmark, and 1 on Kidizen. I do typically sell more on Poshmark. This was a fairly even week for eBay and Poshmark, which is interesting. I'm curious to go back into my yearly sales. I'm going to pull those stats. So again, let me know if you'd like to see a video on kind of like a yearly recap. I always think it's fun to see where I source things from. So I got 14 of these items at the bins, 14 at Goodwill retail stores, 4 at the Prime thrift store, and 3 at 2nd Avenue, as well as my 1 personal use item, my kids' little shorts. My average sales price this week was $34.70, which is great. It's usually in the upper 20s, and it's been in the 30s most recently, so I love that. I think that's also true in like fall, winter. I'm selling more boots, I'm selling more coats, I'm selling more cashmere, I'm selling things that just kind of are more substantial and drive a higher sales price. That'll probably go back down once we're getting into spring, summer, and I'm selling lighter, kind of cheaper items, not as substantial. But I don't know, maybe we'll be able to keep that trend. Maybe I'm just sourcing better items. I have been doing this for a little bit longer than the previous year and in previous months. So hopefully it means that I, just as a businesswoman in how I'm running my business, am getting better, but who knows? It could also be a total fluke, and next month I could be here doing a video about how terrible my average sales price is going to be. So we will see. All right, and that leaves me to my final numbers for the video, which are my total sales were $1,145.20. My total profit, again, just as a reminder, that removes all shipping fees, platform fees, promoted listings, discounted shipping on Poshmark, everything except for taxes. And I made $702.42. I'm pretty happy with that number. I've had weeks that were more, I've had weeks that are lower, but that's a really, really great number for me, just being a part-time reseller, doing this in my spare time, kind of for fun. We're putting all this towards a Disney vacation that we are taking, and I just booked it, so I'm getting really excited, and I'm starting to plan more and more, and I cannot wait. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Again, if you are celebrating this year, any holiday, I hope that you have a very, very, very wonderful time. From my family to yours, Merry Christmas. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.